All right, so on today's video, I made a post on our business Facebook page, and a customer brought in a block and some other stuff to go with it, but mainly a block that was worked on at another shop. I don't know who, don't care. It's irrelevant to the subject matter. So the block was honed. This is it's aluminum standard bore 5.3. The block was honed, and it appears that they belt sanded the deck surfaces of the block. So there's just some crazy comments on the whole post, and some of them are so crazy that I think it's a good way to highlight some of these comments. I'm gonna read them and respond to them. And some of these comments are a perfect example of why you should not get on the internet and ask for advice. I have X problem, and what do y'all think? Because people on the internet are just, they speak with authority, and they're just absolutely wrong. This stuff is just, some of these comments, man, I don't even know. It's scary. But to start with, I think most of these people, they just absolutely don't know what an automotive belt sander is. So we're gonna walk over to the other side of the shop, and I'm gonna show you what an automotive belt sander is, because half of these people think we're talking about like a carpenter's belt sander. I guess I don't know, but I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna walk over to the other side of the shop, and I'm gonna show you what a real automotive belt sander is. All right, so this is a Winona Van Norman belt sander. It works like this. You put something, we use it for like exhaust manifolds, and here's a stop. You put it on there, you belt sand your manifold, and you turn it off, and you're good to go. So that's the belt sander. Well, we don't use it. We just don't use it. But a lot of places steal belt sand cylinder heads, and it's cornbread nonsense. It don't work. The way the belt comes on and off the head makes the head look like a smiley face. I've never seen one. As long as I've been in business, I've never seen any belt sander, new, used, or in between, that will produce a flat surface. They just don't work. So having said that, that is the kind of belt sander that we are talking about, just to clarify that. So the surfaces appear to be belt sanded, some form. So hopefully we can insert a picture of the deck in this video so you can see what we're talking about. But the factory LS, and other stuff too, but the LS and the small block Chevrolet, they both have the same problem. The factory surface finish is really coarse, and you can tell it was a big face mill, and they run across the deck, and so it makes half circles. You see a half circle pattern, a radial pattern down the deck. And so, and we'll get to some of these comments, but so you see in the surface the radial pattern, but on the edges and over the whole thing, you can see that it's been dusted down. So it's been on something, whether they done it by hand or done it with a surfacer, I don't know. But you can tell it's been worked on, and all of the scratches are going one direction. So some form or fashion, it's been belt sanded. So having said that, and then keep in mind, the post said the cylinders are 3 thousandths oversized, not 3/1000 clearance, 3/1000 over. So the factory spec is probably 1/1000 clearance. We are 3 more thousandths than that. So we've got 4.5 thousandths clearance on a cast piston. That won't work. I promise it won't work. Not long. It's enough clearance to make noise. But people don't read, or either they don't comprehend. I don't know. But the first comment, the guy says, 3/1000 over, nothing needed more than that. 3/1000 over is nothing. They didn't punctuate. 3/1000 over is nothing. Stop. Need more than that for forged pistons. Well, we don't have forged pistons. We have standard bore factory cast pistons. 3/1000 over is nothing. Well, it is something. It's 3/1000 over. So that's 2 times more clearance than the piston was designed for. So, you know, I mean, it's like, okay. So then another guy comments to this guy and says, I came here to say the same thing. So we got two people that can't do math. We can't do math. 4.5 thousandths clearance is a problem. I mean, that's a problem. So the next guy, he says 3/1000ths in the bore is not a large issue. A belt sander on the deck surface is an issue though. And he goes on to say some more stuff. So again, 3/1000ths extra clearance in the bore is a large issue. We're not building junkyard motors. You know, the stuff that we do our best to do precision work. We have to warranty this stuff, and the customer, you know, spends a bunch of money on parts. He buys good stuff. He wants his motor to live, right? So, I mean, that's why it's here, because they seen some stuff that looks sketchy, and they're like, hey, you know, can you check this out for us? So, you know, again, you know, it's another one that's, hey, you know, who cares what the clearance is? So, so another guy, he says, that is not belt sanding witness marks. Looks more like Blanchard ground surface or some grinder with a large face grinding wheel. And the lines are perfectly lined up with each other. Could only be done by machine, not by hand. Well, number one, I didn't say it was done by hand. And number two, again, the marks that we see are the factory marks that whatever sanding they done didn't completely get out. So, you know, another guy, same deal. I still see the original mill pattern on the deck. So it may have just been draw filed, touched up with a file wrapped in sandpaper. I mean, I can't even comment to this stuff. It's insanity. Another guy, can't see any cracks. Wear is expected on an old engine. New rings should be okay. New rings doesn't fix excessive skirt clearance. I mean, I don't know where this logic comes from. Another guy, 4-inch and 5/1000ths LS pistons are fairly common. Well, we're gonna have a problem getting 4-inch pistons in a 3 7/80 hole. And nobody makes a stock replacement cast piston in 5/1000ths over. So we're just going to bore it to 3 and 800 and put some 20 over pistons in it and cure the problem. That's what we're going to do. Here's another one. 3/1000ths over what clearance, stock, what pistons, street car, race car, built many stock car engines and loosened them up to 5/1000ths. Oversized rings thousands of laps, wore out mini Chevys, blah, 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 nonsense, more nonsense. So again, this is another fantasy land of oversized rings. I mean, just, you can, let me stress it again. Ring gap is not your problem. I mean, you can have, a stock engine, a naturally aspirated stock deal, we talking 14, 15 thousandths ring gap. You can open the gap up to 35. It won't make any difference. But you open up skirt clearance and you will beat the skirt off the piston. And it will not live. I don't care what nobody says. You can't put 5,000 clearance on a cast piston in a daily driver and it live. It just won't do it. It just won't do it. Another one, machining marks look like fly cutting. Fly cutting is normally done to face of thin sleeves, done on a milling machine. Sleeves were protruding. I think these people start smoking crack before they make comments. Cause what is okay, let's move on. I don't even know. 3,000 is too big. Sounds like race spec. I don't care if you're racing or going to the grocery store. Your piston has a skirt clearance spec. Period. Whatever it is what it is. I don't care if you're racing or going to the grocery store. The spec is the spec. Another guy says sleeve it. Why would we sleeve 8 holes when we could just bore it 20 over and the problem's cured? Oh man. Looks more like surface grinding with a coarse stone. With intolerance, just add some boost. So that adding boost will fix my excessive skirt clearance problem. I didn't know boost did that. I'm glad to know. I'll keep that in my toolbox. Gapless rings, good to go. Again, ring gap, who cares? It's irrelevant. There was another one somewhere about just oversized rings. But this is the kind of stuff, these are the kind of people that are giving advice on these forums to other people that don't know anything. So we got people that don't know anything giving advice to other people that don't know anything. And I have no doubt that these people are like, they're not doing this with malice. I mean, they just don't know that they don't know. And the crazy thing is I see this kind of stuff all the time. And it's, I mean, this is why the internet is a scary place to be, because of this kind of stuff. Because, I mean, I see these poor people that they trying to get some help to fix their problem. And we got 50 people like this making these crazy comments, and they got them believing all kind of nonsense because they're speaking with authority like they've done this a million times. And these people are like, oh, wow, yeah. And I mean, I'm a freaking machine shop, and these people are on my post arguing with me. And I'm like, man, I built more motors last month than you built in your whole life. And they still arguing with me about what's correct and what's not correct. It's just mind boggling. But the point is, and again, I ain't trying to be ugly or nothing. I'm just saying that, I mean, it's kind of irritating because you see these people, and especially I get people to come in here, and they new to the hot rod world, and they done been on some forums and heard all this nonsense, and then I'm trying to tell them the right way, and they looking at me like, I got 3 heads, and so it makes it slightly more complicated to try to deprogram them from some of this nonsense. But anyway, I don't know. If you like this kind of junk, we could do this all the time. But if you like this kind of content, you know, answering some of these crazy comments and stuff, put it in the comments. I'll do it more often because there's plenty of it. But you know, let me know, like, share, subscribe. We're trying to grow the channel. We got a LS9 build coming up. We're gonna do like a multiple part series from start to the engine's finished. Gonna go through the whole thing. You know, I mean, we got a lot of views. We getting more and more subscribers. The channel's growing. I really appreciate it, but I need some feedback to what you want to see, because I'll give you what you want, or I'll try to, but you got to tell me. I mean, you got to communicate with me. So tell me what you think. If you like this kind of stuff, we'll do some more of it. If you got other ideas, put it in the comments, and if I can, I'll do it. So thank you again. Like, share, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one.